go. What is happening, beautiful people? Igama lami Usiphile, and welcome to another episode on this platform. This is take two. This is take two. I recorded the first one, and I was so nervous because I've been off camera, off the mic for months now. The last episode, I think, was in October. So yeah, I just needed to get comfortable again. I've done a couple of takes, like practice takes, to see what it's gonna look like. I did sound check. I was just finishing up with the setup, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous at the same time, but I'm quite excited. Today, unfortunately, I don't know if you've been able to pick it up, but I'm not feeling my best. I think 2 days ago I started feeling like my throat getting scratchy, and it's been getting scratchier over the days. So, but I made a commitment to say, you know what? Because I know myself. Whenever I get in like in a role, and I'm like very productive, I always either get sick or something, and it may be my body telling me that I need to rest. But I think subconsciously also it might just be like a physical manifestation of like fear, that, okay, fine, now I'm getting things done. So, hey, what if it blows up and stuff? So this is a new year, and I'm very excited because I've been off for quite a while, man. And I knew like deep down that I missed the mic. I missed being in front of the camera. I missed recording the episodes. And I'll take it down on what the last couple of weeks, months have been like. But I think for now, it's just to say welcome and thank you so much for tuning in once again. And welcome. This is episode 11. This is episode 11. So, yeah, I think before I even get started, because I didn't want to talk a lot, I'm pretty sure you've been able to see that there's obviously a new setup, and there's this beautiful baby behind me. So I just want to give a bit of background as to what exactly this canvas is for, and the direction that the platform will be taking going forward, the direction the podcast is going to be taking going forward, and just the vision, or like the goal for 2024. And yeah, I have a video that I want to play, because I know whenever I try to explain it myself, like I always overcomplicate it. So this is a video that I recorded on I think the 16th of November 2022. So 16th November 2022. So now it's about a year and 2 months old. And the video I recorded because that's when the inception of the idea of the podcast actually came through. But at that point, I didn't really know. So the direction that the podcast is going to take for this year is something linked and heavily influenced by this video. So I'll play it post-production somewhere so that you can also just see it. Okay, so I just got an idea. The idea was sparked by a conversation I had Izolo. I was having a conversation about how as humans, we're constantly changing and evolving, right? Who I was yesterday is not necessarily who I am today. And who I am today doesn't mean I'll be the same person. So there's lessons that we are constantly learning as humans, whether it's active lessons or something passive. You could be sitting and you observe something. In the moment, you don't take it in, but as time goes by, you process. You're like, oh my goodness, I recall this from this incident. So, idea that I had is to possibly start a series, like a video series or audio series, whatever, where I am sharing those lessons that I have learned, because also I'm also changing, I'm evolving, I'm growing. I'm not necessarily whole, I'm actually far from it. Every day there's something that I still need to learn, whether it's personal life, in my career, my hobbies, whatever. There's things there's things to be learned out there. So, and Kutwa, experience is the best teacher. And just because someone tells you not to do something because of what they've gone through doesn't mean that you won't do that thing. Sometimes you have to go through it yourself to see it. But at least if you hear something, or if you hear about something, or someone tells you the experience of something, and you go through it, when you are going through it when you are in it, now you're going through it, it's easier to recognize, because you're like, oh, this is why they told me not to do this thing, or this is why they told me to do this thing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you think I should keep it or bring it. Yeah. Have a great day. Yeah, so it was a year ago. Well, a year and 2 months ago. The end of 2022. And at the time, just to give a bit of background, at the time I didn't know I wanted to get back into podcasting, but I knew that I wanted to create something, right? I didn't have a YouTube channel, but I knew I wanted to create something that would almost act as like a guideline, or like a blueprint, like a blueprint to life. I knew that I'd gone through my own experiences. I knew that I had my life. I had my own perspective to what life is about. I've transitioned through different phases in my life and stages in my life, right? And so I knew that with what I had, there's something I could offer to somebody else. There's people that are going to go through similar things, or rather similar transitions, like a transition from grade 9 to grade 10, whereby you have to pick your own subjects, right? From matric into varsity, from varsity to the working world, and so on and so forth. So I knew that there's many other people that are going through those different transitions, and my experience could be similar to their experience, which means if I was able to share my experience and my lessons in those different transitions and those phases, it could help them navigate those phases a bit better than they would if they didn't have any experience, And so that's what I wanted to create at the time. And I was like, I'm going to create a video series either on YouTube or wherever. I didn't really quite know. So I posted it on WhatsApp, and a couple of people showed interest. Said, this sounds like a good idea. Why don't you go ahead and do it? But I didn't know how I was going to do it because I didn't have YouTube, like I said. And I knew, okay, I'm going to do it on WhatsApp. But the people on my WhatsApp are people that have direct access to me. So it's not people that, some of them could definitely benefit, but it's not a wider audience. And Instagram as well, TikTok could have been an option at the time. But then the idea just kind of died down and I moved on. And then January 2023, which is last year, I think 29th of January actually, I recorded 28th to 29th of January. I recorded the first episode on this platform, and I didn't have a name for the podcast, but I knew that I'm gonna make a podcast, and the podcast is gonna be about storytelling. But also at the time, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to navigate the storytelling. There's different forms of storytelling, and even in myself, there's different ways that I am able to tell stories. So I write music, for example. I'm like, okay, I want to express that part of it, be able to write music and tell it through that, and have other people come through and tell it in their way that they are comfortable with. I also had a history of podcasting, with the Alpha Show. And so I was like, I want to incorporate that as well, have a podcast where people can come through and tell their stories. But also then it wasn't quite clear as to what the stories are going to be about, or the directions the stories would typically take if they were to come on this platform, because there's many podcasts out there. So what direction would the story take if they're coming through to come tell it here? But anyway, I wasn't quite concerned about that at the time. When I did worry about, okay, I wanted to be perfect and I wanted to come across like this, but it was still very unclear. Fast forward to the last episode with Adrian. Shout out to Adrian. Came through and we spoke about resilience. He was the first guest, and it was my 10th episode. So it was a massive milestone. It was also nice to have, a guest come through, and somebody that I know has a story to tell, somebody that has definitely imparted their knowledge and their experience onto me, Cool episode, spoke about resilience, and we touched on the different parts of like resilience in his life and where resilience was able to come through and come out. And then at the end, I was like, okay, this was a really good episode, had a positive response. It was received well by the people that watched the episode, and they enjoyed it quite. It was like over an hour. So I was worried about that part, but people didn't seem to be concerned about it. As I watched it back, I'm like, okay, it's good, because obviously I am my own like critique. And then I was like, I feel like we could have gone in depth. Even after the episode, after we recorded, we were like, we could have gone in depth on so many other things because we know more, right? When you interview someone who it's almost difficult to kind of ask them about their past if you know about their past, right? But then that in its own it's an advantage, because then you can dive deeper into the areas that nobody else could have been able to. So I was like, shoot, This on its own could have been an episode. This phase could have been an episode. This phase could have been a different episode. And we could speak about resilience in all those different stages. It would have taken longer if it was done in one episode, but if we did it over 3 episodes, then we could have gotten 3 very good episodes that are lengthy. Sorry, that are more in-depth. They are going to be lengthier, but they're going to be more in-depth. And the person watching will be able to receive a lot more than if we touch things on surface level. Cool. Fast forward, I got into a phase now I'm like very obsessed about, okay, I need to get a guest in order for me to do this. I need to get a guest in order for me to record an episode. And for the longest time, it was delayed. Like I said, the last episode was probably uploaded in October, if I'm not mistaken. October or September. Fast forward now, I'm like, okay, I need to get a guest because, I want to talk about A, B, C, and D with someone and get their perspective. And then I now need to approach people, right? Yo, get someone. Let's get someone. Who are you going to get? Okay, look around. Need to get people that are obviously within proximity. Okay, who would you want to get on the podcast? Look around also. Okay, here's a list of people that I want to get. Okay, then record. Record. Because now, time is gone and people are expecting the 11th episode. So let's do it. Got into a creative block. Spoke myself out of doing so many things. It became cluttered once more. The vision I had also became cluttered. I'm like, I want to speak about resilience. I want to speak about this. I want to speak about that. And got stuck once more, which happens quite a lot. And then I'm like, okay, now what? Didn't really know what to do. And then friends of mine shared 2 books with me, right? One of them is a book called The Defining Decade, and the other one is called Who Moved My Cheese. So Who Moved My Cheese is the book that speaks about change, right? And so it's different characters and they go through this phase of finding cheese and not being able to move on, etc., etc. Not related to this episode, but in the book, there's 2 characters that are quite close. And because they had different approaches to how they were navigating change, they happened to split. And so the other one that was able to move on and accept change a bit better than they made, they went on obviously to find something better outside of their situation. And then they say, I think the character says something along the lines of, I will keep writing things on the wall so that if ever my friend were to, were to give themselves or allow themselves to get out of the situation, they'll be able to navigate and find me or find this new, whatever heaps of cheese. I will write everything on the wall so that they know that I was there. I've been here. This is what I experienced. I've been here. This is what I experienced. And they are moving towards the right direction, or the direction that is favorable to them and the thing that they aspire for. And so I was like, whoa. That is my that is it. This is it. This is what I've always wanted to do. And this has been captured and encapsulated in a sentence. It's a very small book in a sentence. And so then I came up I came up with the official name of the podcast. Because Usiphile on the platform at its inception, like I said, when I uploaded the first episode, I didn't even know what the name of the podcast was going to be. But on the episode, I kept saying, uploading on the platform. I was like, okay, I am Usiphile and I want to make a platform, so Usiphile on the platform. However, I want Usiphile on the platform to be my creative outlet. So a place that is for storytelling, but the different forms and ways of storytelling. So music, podcasting, videography, photography, cinematography, whatever way that I want to do it. So it should be able to allow me to do all those things. However, the platform and the podcast, I wanted to have an identity, and its identity is officially Writings on the Wall podcast. And it's called Writings on the Wall for reasons I have explained. And it's writings on the wall in the literal sense. I had to be extra. I literally didn't have to be extra, but I wanted to be extra because I care about the small things, right? I care about the detail. And so I was like, it would be nice to have, obviously, the podcast as the writings on the wall, with writings written by people that have been in those places before. But I was like, it would be nice to just add the literal element to it by having actual writings on the wall. And so it's very blank today because this is the first episode, right? With the new name and first episode for the year, but it's 11th episode on the platform as far as the podcast is concerned. And so in this journey that I'm going to be embarking on, journey where I am sharing, putting on writings on the wall of things that I have been exposed to, things that I have heard from other people that are found to be useful, and things that you could possibly find useful as well. Have guests come through, share their stories and share their experience and lessons that they have been able to pick up and collect along the way. They will be putting those writings on this wall. So it'll have different messages, and it will also be nice just for me to look at and track and say, oh, damn, this is something that I've put on, and I put it on in, the 11th episode. Oh, if I have a guest, this is a guest that came through and they put this thing on in this episode. And so, I just had to be extra like that. And so this is the official start and the beginning of Writings on the Wall. But it's also a continuation to what we've already done before. Like when I watch back to my episodes, I can already see that it was me trying to do it, but I didn't quite understand or know how to do it or execute. So you find episodes like Don't Give Up. You find episodes like, Getting Started. Episodes like Debunking Popular Beliefs. I remember watching that episode, watching it back and thinking to myself, because in the episode I speak about how people speak about passion, as if it's supposed to be easy. Like if you're working on something that you love, it does not feel like work. It feels like it's fun, right? You should be able to do it every day. And so I was like, nah, no, it is not like that. And for me, it was a disappointment to be like, why am I unable to record a podcast every day, bro? Because this is something that should come easy to me and something that I love. I love and I want to do it, and nobody's paying me to do it. So it's out of passion and it's out of the goodness of my heart. So why can't I just do it every day, But I realize it's work, and work needs dedication, and it needs commitment, and it needs you to, put in the work so you can see the result. Consistency, resilience, and all the different things that we can speak on then as the year progresses. And so it was nice watching it back, watching myself say, oh, actually, remember, this is work as well. So take it seriously and take it for what it is. So yeah, Writings on the Wall is officially live. Recorded on the first month of the year, marking a new beginning, and also recorded on a day where I don't feel like doing it. I actually do feel like doing it, but my body doesn't feel like doing it. Like I'm physically sick. I'm physically sick. I'm actually quite. What's this? I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed that I've been able to speak for now 18 minutes and 30 seconds without choking or losing my breath. So yeah, may this mark the new beginning. May this mark something that will be useful, mark and capture a beautiful journey. And it's so symbolic that, for me, it's so symbolic that it is literally a blank canvas. It's not black because I've written on it. It's not blank because I've written on it, but it's a blank canvas. And it's an opportunity for me to start again, and for me to take everything I've learned in my journey and run with it. See how far it takes me, and may it be a beautiful journey for you as well. May it be something that is fruitful and helpful, Ingabi into I'm just wasting my time whenever I tune into here. So yeah, this is Writings on the Wall, episode 11. Welcome and Happy New Year. And yeah, so this book, as you can see, we have a new setup. This book is a book, I didn't put it here because it's because of the content, but it's the first book I read and finished in my life. It's fiction. It's a book by Dan Brown called Digital Fortress. Very thick book. I read it, enjoyed it actually at the time. Don't remember what it was about. I knew there was something about a virus and like tech and stuff, It's sci-fi, so I enjoyed it, and I could actually imagine watching the movie. And this is a Rubik's Cube. I love a Rubik's Cube. I'm obsessed with Rubik's Cubes actually, and this is just random deco and my laptop. I know I think it was the first episode. I don't know which episode it was, man. Like last year, where I said it's giving up on me. It is giving up on me because it doesn't work without a charger. So, but it's still standing, and I'm proud of it. And it's taken me this far, and it can only take me further from here. So, yeah, beautiful things. And the quote that I will leave. So I'll just be dropping off quotes here and just like things that come to mind. The first quote that I'm gonna be adding on to here is a quote that I got from a video by, I think, Andrew Huberman. He says it's one of the quotes that he believes in, and the quote is, "When the pain of the current reality is far greater than the fear of change, that's when you change." So when the pain of your reality is greater than the fear of change, that's when you're going to change. And I thought that's very powerful, because sometimes you want to do things and you want to change, but you think you want to change, but actually not really. But yeah, that's probably going to be the next episode that I'm going to be speaking on. But for now, yeah, man, welcome to Writings on the Wall. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but whoever you are and wherever you are, I just hope it finds you. Peace, everyone. Done.